how do I make 100 grand a month by the end of this year?
Let's get straight to the point. I want 100 grand a month by the end of the year. So what you have to have is you have to have a large enough market with the ability to pay. So, and then you have to decide, what do I have that's worth $10,000 that I can sell 3.3 of those a day for $1,000 each, right? Because in order for me to sell it for 1,000, it needs to be worth 10,000, right? So like, and you can make 100 grand a month if you've got $1,000 product that you sell on a webinar. If you get enough people on the webinar, let's say you close 20% and you get 1,000 people on a webinar, you close 200 people on $1,000 product, that's 200 grand. And I'm really glad you asked that question. And I want y'all to notice that it was a younger person who asked that question, because he doesn't already have it in his mind that it's harder to make 100,000 a month than it is to make 100,000 a year, right? So he's like, I want to be 100,000 a month. So you have to have a large enough audience with the ability to pay, and then you have to have the ability to make yourself findable for those people or reach those people so that they can opt into what you have. 100,000 a month is so much closer than you think it is. So, and then you have to be good enough at persuasion and communication to get those people to buy. That's what you have to do to make 100 grand a month. And so let me give you all this. If I were going to put this in a phrase that y'all can like meditate on for the rest of the day. All work works. There isn't any work that you have never worked on anything in your life that didn't work. People say, yeah, but I tried to do that and it didn't work. Oh, it worked. It worked. Everything you've ever worked on worked. The scripture says in all labor there is profit. So here's the challenge though. Everything that you work on doesn't work for you immediately, but it still worked. And if it's not working for you, that means it's working on you. I promise you, one of the biggest challenges up and coming entrepreneurs have is allowing the work that they're working on to work on them until they become the people for whom it can work. Right? So what happens is we're working on something, we want it to produce this outcome. And then the outcome doesn't happen and we say, well, it didn't work. And so then we stop doing it and we lose all of the momentum that work had working on us. Then we start over. And right. So we're always starting and stopping and starting and stopping instead of trusting the process. Like when I got into sales in 1985, for instance, I got started in sales in 1985 in insurance and investments. I started in October of 1985. I did not make my first sale until April of 1987. Why? Because I was terrible at sales. It wasn't that selling wasn't working. It was working. It was showing me how terrible I was at sales. And if I wanted to make sales, I have to get better. So it did the exact work it should do. I was so awful at sales that when I got started in sales, it took me 18 months to make my first sale. My first commission check was $125.66 for 18 months worth of work. And then about 12 and a half years later, I became an overnight success. I had my first six-figure year. Right? I'm not telling you that because it has to take you that long. I'm telling you that so that y'all don't give up on your dreams because it didn't happen in 7 weeks. Where you could, like, the reality is, Luke, you could make 100,000 a month by the end of September if you got all if you got all the stuff in place, right? So there's like wealth is like oxygen. There's more than enough for everybody to have more than enough, and there'd still be more than enough left over.